This meeting is called to order. It is now 7 p.m. on July 11th. I'd like to ask Councilman Hutto to give our opening prayer.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we ask for blessings upon this gathering here this evening. We ask that you come and be in our midst, guide our minds, guide our hearts, guide our tongue. For we realize that what we said and do here today may leave things in history for years to come. So we ask that you help us to do those things which are pleasing in your sight and which are in the best interest of the people of this town. And when we have done what you have assigned our hands to do here this evening, we ask that you give us a safe passage back to our homes. These are all the blessings. We ask in your Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Join me in a salute to the flag. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, you have a copy of tonight's agenda. Are there any changes that need to be made at this time?
Mayor, the executive session items, all of those folks have canceled for this evening, so that will need to come off.
Right. Are there any other changes that need to be made? If not, I need a motion to adopt the agenda with the removal of the items listed under executive session.
Motion.
Got a motion? Sure. Second, any further discussion? Hearing all in favor, raise your right hand. Next on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from the June 6th, 2023 regular scheduled council meeting and the June 20th, 2023 special council meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made to those minutes? Hearing none, any motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion? Second, any further discussion? Hearing all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Next on the agenda is persons appearing before council. Do we have anybody signed up at this time?
We have no one signed up at this time, Mayor.
I'll wait for the crowd to. Let somebody pay attention. I'll give about 30 seconds to. We'll go ahead and move on now. Should nobody step forward. Under old business, redistricting ordinance and map, first reading. Mr. Sly.
All right, we done it as first reading, but so the state sent a map. So this here is the current Pageland zoning map, or Pageland district map, respectively for the council districts. And this here is what the state has proposed whenever they sent this back. There's a couple things that are problematic with it, and we're going to have to ask them to take them off. The first being,
You got your pointer?
I'm going to use my pen.
Okay.
And since I hit my knee. The first being, this section right here, they're currently showing there's 49 homes in there that are not in town limits, but there won't, because it's a census block, they won't split a census block, what they was telling us whenever we talked to them a couple months, 2 months ago, or a month and a half ago. So the best thing we could do, or my suggestion to council is to take that off. The other census block would be, the remove would be that one, so those are not counted into the, because it's also going to have outside people here in this Amberlin 1 section. That way those numbers are not counted whenever they're doing the redistricting. Of course, we can send it back to the election commission that those areas are annexed in. They just won't be considered for the redistricting portion of this. So they'll still get their vote, they just won't be considered for the numbers to get them within the variance that they're looking for there. Also, on this map, you see that they've suggested that District 1 come down. They've suggested that District 6 extend over and extend south of McGregor Street. District 5 has gotten smaller here. District 3 is much smaller because of that. I think District 4 is close to the same. You all should have a current district map there, and I can flip back to it on the previous slide as well. So, even though it does say on the agenda, the ordinance, my suggestion is we work through this as a one-on-one type of thing, and we go through and make this what you want, and still stay within the state guidelines of what the 5% that they're trying to accomplish. I don't think this is going to be a one and done. I don't think this is going to be a tonight decision or in next council meeting. I think this is going to be a little bit ongoing beyond, just 2 meetings. I think probably need to hash this out a little bit and look at it and keep sending suggestions back to the state until everybody has what they're looking for out of it.
Now, what were you saying again about like in District 2, there was 49 houses? Are you saying those weren't in town limits?
They are not in the town limits.
So those need to be excluded, and the same with the bottom part of.
Right, so, and it's not 49 houses, it's 49 people that they're,
Right.
so, and most of those are around the C.W. Baker Circle right here, and they're not in the town limits.
Right.
But because this is an entire census block, they only take entire census blocks, and
So you're
This here is
proposing they back out that number of people because they're
Right.
not in town.
so this here's the census block map. This entire green section right here is one census block. That's also like this section here. This is an entire census block. Now, most of town is just a single block size block. But some of these areas are much larger census blocks, including this Amberley section out here, this in yellow. It will take that entire yellow out for the redistricting side.
Yeah, because it goes all the way down to Evans Mill, and I know that's not in town. So.
Right. Well, currently, this section of Evans Mill right here is, because we annexed. That was on that 300 acre, or 280 acre parcel right there.
Okay, the Eagle Crest?
Mhm.
Not far from where Rollins Road comes
Yep,
in.
I see the Rollins Road, yeah.
Well, back at C.W. Baker Circle, you were saying all that will be in a proposed annex?
No, it's not a proposed annex, this is redistricting. So
Redistricting,
what they're doing is they're saying, we're not gonna break up this, to give you an example, we're not gonna break up this census block, because this is one large census block, we're not gonna cut it in half, or cut it along the property boundaries, we're gonna use it as one large census block, because they won't break a census block, is what they've told us. So instead of trying to add those, since we know there's no residents in town in this currently, it's best to exclude this and not include those 49 people. This section over here with Amberley, they don't count anything that was not counted in the 2020 census. I know the ladies that we talked to that night, it almost sounded like, hey, y'all need to add up all the houses that would have been added. After I've talked with the supervisor there, that's not the case. Anything that's already there is not included. They're using the 2020 census as their redistricting guide. The ones in Amberley won't fall into the redistricting until the 2030 census.
So was any of Amberley counted?
No, and for right this second on this one, Amberley's counted and the 49 that are up here for this map right here. Now, what I'm suggesting is council direct me to remove this one and send that back to the state and say, hey, take those two off and then reshuffle cards. Is what I'm suggesting.
But are those in town limits now?
So if you leave this, then you're including people who are not in town limits.
Okay.
And the people in Amberley, those numbers are not currently being counted because they wasn't there during the 2020 census. So the only ones
But can't we amend it for,
you amend it for your election, but you don't amend it for your redistricting.
okay,
You tell the election commission, hey, these people are in town, but for the redistricting purpose, they're seeing this here as a 0. Now, they're trying to add these along here because,
but those are not in town.
but those are not in town. But this is one large census block
Right.
as of this big yellow piece right here, so they're automatically trying to add it. So what happens is, right before the 2030 census, they'll send the information to the town. We'll have to go out on their website and actually draw these boundaries so they can recut these blocks and make new census blocks. So the next time, we can say, hey, this is in, or this part's in and that's out.
Is there a certain number they were shooting for
They're trying
per
to,
district?
they're trying to stay in a variance, and there is a number, and I don't remember what it is. It's,
It was like 450 or something.
yeah, it's something like that, but they're trying to get everybody about even is what they're trying to do.
And is there there is some negotiations on this?
Yes,
right?
there is.
You know, I'm looking at District 3. District 3 has probably lost 25%. That's a guess.
Well, and
20,
that was based, they're automatically gonna try to, take that 25% based on the numbers that they had already come up with. Remember, the last time they showed that you were a bit higher than some of the others, they're gonna try to cut that back some.
Yeah, I think me and Shane.
Yeah,
were
the
the
two-
two highest.
Yeah, 3 and 5 were the two that they were showing as the highest. And so they're gonna try to cut that back some and get the variance less than 5% is what their ultimate goal is, which I think by law, they have to be less than 5% variance.
And that area that they're proposing, being such a change in District 3, is that part of that census block part that
So-
they say is untouchable?
This census block right here is a huge census block. This here's what, now this is actually 2 census, if you look at where Cabraco Park is and then the warehouse and stuff here just past it, that's a separate census block than this big section here where some folks who are currently in your district live at. Actually, everybody in this is currently in your district, but this is one large census block, and they're taking whatever numbers that they have from the 2020 census in there, and they're using those numbers to try to increase Mr. Hutto's a little bit to even y'all out is what they're doing. Now, it might be a thing where you could take 2 or 3 of these blocks to even it out as well. This here's just what they suggest whenever they done that math.
Well, and, what they're doing to try to even the districts out, there are only 2 quote-unquote minority districts in there now. How much can you add to a minority district before it's no longer a minority district?
I don't know the answer to that, Mr. Hutto. The state's the one that done this shuffling, not me, so I don't. I've got a formulary that they sent in my email, and I don't think I printed it out. I know it's not up here. It may be in your packets. I mean, I can't remember if I put it in the packets or not. I thought that I had.
The original one, it might, there was a bunch of them.
If not, I can pull it up on email before I leave from here and get you a copy of it. Of what they've got broken out.
Well, will that be a part of the conversation, or that's no longer relevant?
Yes, I mean, it's still relevant. It's still part of the conversation. My first thoughts are we need to take this census block up here and this census block here. We need to take those out and have them reshuffle the cards and see what they come back to. I think that would be our first step.
Yeah, there's got to be some negotiations somewhere along the way. And these numbers are based on the 2020 census.
Yes, sir.
Which we already know is wrong.
Which we
Oh,
know,
yeah.
the numbers are skewed, so we're operating on skewed numbers.
Working on a long system to start with.
So if you start off wrong, what you end up with is gonna be wrong.
That's what's so aggravating about this, you know?
The thing Shane and I talked about yesterday and today is, we don't need to rush through this process. We wanna make sure we get it done right.
In my district, it's been cut up, so I don't have them all, I don't have really anybody.
And I think in conversation with Mr. Hancock, Councilman Hancock, I think that this is the first time we've had redistricting in the last at least 30 years.
Yes.
At least 30 years.
So it's been about 15, 20.
And that's when we had two council seats.
I don't think we've ever had two seats up here. I know, I've been up here 20 years, you've been up here almost 30.
No.
Not quite. 24.
Yeah, we went from 4 districts to.
Well, that's close.
We understood.
Yeah. But this is the first time, we'll make sure we do it right. And did you talk to the election commission?
I did talk to the state election commission, because the concern that I had was these being in there and then the others not being in there. And they said that we could go back and add the ones who were not in, back to the election cycle, so that they are adequately represented.
And another suggestion I have is we don't try to put this thing into play with this election, because the way this is done right here, you got districts 1, 2, and 3 that are up for election this year, it'll create chaos. So, we have people going to the wrong precinct, and so you have to educate the public a lot once the redistricting is done. So your recommendation, Shane, at this time is to have those 2 census blocks removed for now, send it back to the state, let them send us back a proposed map,
It is.
and
And then we see what kind of map comes back, and then we can start
Fresh.
working on, moving maybe some smaller blocks around and
And we may be able to give them some kind of feedback as to what we are trying to accomplish too.
I think,
Because the conversation I heard from that commission the other night, sound like they just want to get some things, some equal numbers and then be through without looking at any of the particulars.
right.
Kind of what I thought too.
Any more questions, or would y'all like to look at any of these again while I'm on this side of the room?
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. We might come back to it.
And you all should have copies of it there, so y'all look at, and I think that I even put a copy of the census map. Did y'all get a copy of it? You didn't? If you want a copy of it, I got a bigger copy, and I can run y'all off some smaller copies, so y'all can kind of look at that one as well. It's a little more confusing, but understanding that each different color represents a different census block.
Shane, tell me one more time, switch back over to that.
This one?
Yep, the large part of District 3 that they're proposing switch over, is that part of a census block, you might ask?
This right here, and I'll show you on this one, this large section right here, this large yellow section is one census block.
It's one census block. And according to those people that do this,
They won't break a
they
census.
won't break a census block up.
Right. But now, every one of these little teeny tiny ones here are individual census blocks as well.
And the blue on the outside is.
This one right here is a census block, that's a census block, that one, every.
And just for a second, ask you, is there some kind of a federal, state law mandate that says you can hands off census block?
I think they are not doing it because they don't wanna, they don't wanna split it, or because the census blocks tells them how many of what's in each block. If they go split them up, they got to go back to house to, or somebody's got to go back house to house to re-census those areas.
So there's somebody out with it.
What to me, it-
Well, they're not set up like the downtown area either, in like regular city blocks.
Yeah, it's a density issue.
Yeah, it's large pieces of property.
Some of them are.
Yeah,
They used to be sparsely populated or not populated,
right.
and that's changing.
That's a major change for District 3 then.
Yep.
yeah, for District 3 and 1.
When it changed, it's true, folks.
I think whenever you talk to them, just let them know the concern, like Mr. Hutto said, about District 1, and in fact,
Right.
District 2 as well.
Yep.
So,
So it didn't change all that much. Just look at that.
And there's nothing saying that those ladies can't come down here on that. Or maybe we need to go up there. 2 or 3.
I mean, we can start off by having a telephone call with them.
That's exactly right.
If that's what you guys would like to do.
Yeah, sometimes you need to be in the same room.
And
You got
that's a
questions,
little
you can ask.
more difficult with them to get them in the same room. We had a hard time having a Zoom meeting with them, much less getting them here for. I did ask that, and they said they would do a Zoom meeting, and that was the extent of what they would do.
Don't do a Zoom meeting. That was awful. Phone calls weren't better.
Yeah.
well, does anybody else have recommendations they'd like to send up right now, or just for now have them make the recommended removals of that's in District 2 and District 4, and have them reshuffle and come back to us our next council meeting, so then we can start making further recommendations.
And might go back to the way that it was.
Good. Good. Do you need a recommendation from us or approve from us, Shane, to remove those, authorize you to make that request?
If that's your recommendation, then I would give me a,
If that's your recommendation.
that's my recommendation is to take them off.
Okay. Well, I need a motion from the council. Any questions, comments before we make a motion? I need a motion from council to remove the 2 newly annexed areas in District 2 and District 4 on the map, and have RFA shuffle the districts up again and send us a new map by our next council meeting. I need a motion for that. Got a motion? Got a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, in favor, raise your right hand. Next on the agenda is the HVAC at Farmers Market. Mr. Sly.
All right, so during the last council meeting, we talked about the HVAC at the farmer's market. A couple things. Number one, that unit does have that we talked about, does have a 10-year warranty. We did verify that. But I did find out after that council meeting, we were not comparing apples to apples. That the unit that had the low bid, which was $15,995, $205 cheaper than the next lowest bid, was the lowest bid was an 18,000 BTU unit. The next lowest bid was a 24,000 BTU unit. So much like the one out at the airport, we wasn't comparing apples to apples. Therefore, it's my suggestion, and I've talked with the town attorney about it, that we need to be all on the same page and all of them bidding the same type of thing. It's my suggestion that y'all reject all bids, and we set down some guidelines right now, and then we go back and rebid it.
I think we discussed that last time.
Just make sure when you do put your solicitation together, your specs, you can either do it as exact specs, or you can do it as minimum specs. But if you have, I'm going to tell this council, just, if you have somebody, if you put a minimum spec by 18,000 BTU and somebody comes in with 24, we're looking for pricing on a Chevrolet model. If somebody comes in with a Porsche model or a Cadillac, then, you know, they don't get any extra consideration for that. I'm sure it's factored into their price. So we're going to do this as a quote or a bid, then low price prevails. Unless you're going to do another sourcing method, which would be best value RFP, which I don't think something like right here we're trying to do an RFP or best value for, so.
But like last time, they were so different. You had
Oh, yeah.
you had the standard train unit, the traditional type unit, and you had the little slide in the wall units. You know, so I'd like to see us go with like a, how many tons unit was that they give us a price on? I'd love to see us go with a train unit.
Is that, are you asking about the one that was a traditional style unit? All right, let's see what that one was, because I do have the bids from the last time. It was a 5-ton train, split system heat pump with a 10 kilowatt heater. Is what, you know, what we got as far as a traditional unit was a 5-ton unit.
And that 5 ton should,
That was based off of his calculation, on he felt like a 5-ton would cool that area. That, you know, if you wanted to go with a traditional unit instead of the mini splits.
split units worry me because you got so many of them, you got 4 of them. You know, which is traditional, you got one. You do your yearly maintenance on the one instead of 4. That's what I was thinking.
So y'all want to take and reject all the bids and start over the process? Okay. Okay. So I need a motion from council to reject all the bids and resolicit for the HVAC system for the farmer's market. Got a motion? Got a second? Any further discussion? If you're all in favor, raise your right hand. Next on the agenda, are new business.
Did you want to put on some specs before you went on to?
I don't think anybody up here is qualified to be.
Well,
So you might want to take your minimum, some of your specs that you had on there and have those, list those as minimum specs. You know, if you want to have a 10-year warranty, say you can spec out 10 year.
Okay.
Do,
council, what I need first is, do you want mini splits? Because I hear Shane saying he don't really like them, and because of the fact that there's more moving parts and there's possibly more maintenance. Do we want to go with that route, or do we want to go with the traditional style unit? I need some guidance is what I'm asking for.
If we did a split unit, a standard split, that they could use that barrel type tubing, black type barrel, and rather than trying to have somebody fab a ductwork to go above top, because you're not going to be able to put it, it's going to be suspended from the ceiling. You have to build, I would think, you might be able to run ductwork in the bottom.
It'd probably either go in the ceiling or up against the wall, more than likely, if I had to guess.
But if we do a duct system above, I say one of those black barrel type duct systems would look good. I just don't want to I don't want a shiny silver galvanized looking thing up there hanging. That just devalues the whole look of what we're trying to do here. That's the whole reason why I was saying a ductless system would be good, is you would have a head set up there.
Right.
So that's what the good 10-year warranty is good for too, if it breaks. So. But, you know, the only thing I do is make sure you specify the sear, you know, I'm sear, the tonnage. Yeah, you can list the specific brands that you will consider. Mitsubishi does a real good one. I think Mitsubishi's what we got up at the community center. We've got 2 of them at the concession stand, one for upstairs, one for downstairs. 2 heads, 1 pump.
So
With that, you don't need anybody by specified brand?
It could, because some people may not be an authorized reseller of specific products. What I'm saying, if you can list a couple, then you're not being so restricted to limit competition. Mitsubishi has a good one, Mitsubishi, Train.
The bottom line is, none of them are as good as they were
Or-
50 years ago.
No, right,
So, I mean, as long
Yeah.
as you got a 10-year warranty, like you said, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to do is I don't want,
I wouldn't limit brands.
well, I'm not limiting brand, I wanna limit type. I want some feedback on what type do y'all want, and then, as far as brand, we want them to all be apples to apples. We don't want one to be way undersized and one way oversized. Well, that's not what we're looking for. We want everybody to kind of come to about the same, but I need to define which type y'all actually want.
I like to have the old standard unit.
So that, you understand now why I want a definition here. So I got one saying one saying another.
Units compared to one, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
4 units that you got to do service work on that you might have trouble with compared to that 1 unit that you do your yearly maintenance, just like you would do on the other one.
Mhm.
I could care less as long as there's air in there. I don't know anything about air conditioning, so as long as it has air, I'm air.
If they could run the ductwork under the, I don't know how high this thing drops floor, I don't think from the ground, I don't know. So if they can run something up there, I'd be fine with a split. But having something over top, I just really the aesthetics of the appearance of the inside of the building. Unless you can go with one of those, like I said, one of the black barrel type that you see at some of your.
What, the one who done the traditional unit, said install exposed spiral ductwork matching galvanized ceiling is what they said on their
That's not what
quote.
we expected. It's just what the color was. There was a metal finish and not a
Not,
color finish.
yeah.
I tell you what, we ain't gonna have it for this, for the festival, so what we can do is, maybe what you do is you reach out to a couple HVAC folks and see what we can do, and then come out with a recommendation to council.
Okay, I can do
Right
that.
now, we've already, what is it?
We've already canceled.
Yeah, so, we done final, we had the final vote on it, yeah, we got it.
Yeah,
You'll find one there? Reach out.
That works.
But it could be a standard, split unit, like Shane likes, would be, they could put it in there, like I said, under the building, and not be a problem. I don't know how high these things are. They're very
well,
high.
I can tell you that under the building is about knee deep. Isn't that about right, Kim? It's about knee deep.
Well, I told my house.
Hole in the floor on that one side there.
We'll do that then.
My personal, drawbacks are, in this building, the mini split in this building, I've had problems with it since it went out of warranty a year after we opened the building. The other ones are running great. That's the only thing that the only one that I can actually vouch for right to say. I mean, other places I've worked in the past have had those split units and they work great. The one here has been a pain in my side since I come to work here.
We'll do that then.
My mom's had a train 24 years, fixing that to replace it. 24.
We're on to new business now. Town hall cleaning quote, Mr. Sly.
All right, the lady who was cleaning the town hall, she informed me last month that she would, last month was gonna be her last month because she just couldn't work it into her schedule anymore, with some family issues and that type of thing. I've got a quote here from Chesco Services. It's, this quote is $25 more per month than what we were currently paying. These folks are planning on coming in one time a month and doing the office side, another time right before the council meeting doing the council side, and both times cleaning the bathroom. So we end up getting 2 bathroom cleanings a month instead of 1 for that extra $25. So apples to apples, as far as price, they're about the same, other than we get an extra cleaning of the bathrooms for the additional $25. And of course, people will be in the office while they're here, because they'll only come during business hours.
How many people they bring?
Sometimes they bring 3 or 4, and sometimes they bring 6. I don't know how many they would bring for this job in particular, but.
You know anybody they operate that now?
Well, they've actually cleaned the hardware store for us already. They've done a good job for us. They charged us about $100 to go out there and sweep and mop and that type of stuff.
You satisfied with it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Great for the program, too.
Yes, it is. Well, with that being said, I need a motion to approve the proposal, including your packet, to award the janitorial services for Town Hall to Chesco in the amount of $125 per visit for janitorial services. Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second. Any further discussion? Here none, in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next on the agenda is the Haven School Employee Appreciation.
Ms. Blakeney here has proposed this, and I'm gonna let her step up and speak.
You have the floor, Ms. Blake.
Good evening, Mayor Evans, council members, thank you for allowing me to approach you tonight. I had been around here for a while. I went to school here, but the last year or two I've been here, I've just noticed that there was a lot going on with the teachers and the school. So I would like to do Pageland Employee Appreciation Night. And this is one, you have the school bags for the students, but I don't see where we're doing a lot for our teachers and other staff in the schools, and they go through the ringer. It's hard, and Shane, your daughter's there. And I feel like, as a town, we need to start forming a partnership with our schools, with our principals, with our teachers, and let them know that we care. And then once we, as adults, care, then the students will begin to feel that. So at this time, I'd like to ask the town of Pageland to partner with me in putting on this night at the community center. So if you all would partner with us and provide the use of the community center, we are using the funding that I'm soliciting now to give the teachers money, door prizes for the bus drivers, the cook, the cafeteria workers, the teachers' aides, anybody in the Payson area school, they're going to be invited to this thing next Wednesday night.
And that'll be Petersburg Elementary and Central,
Central,
New Heights.
yes,
Okay.
all of them. And Jefferson Elementary.
Jefferson.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, so.
Are you going to get your private schools involved with it also, or just public schools?
Not at this time, maybe moving forward, we'll do it bigger, because I didn't realize the schools were starting August the 1st. So we have a small window and a lot of employees to solicit funding and prizes to, make sure we have something for everybody. But when I talked to one of the teachers, she did say, we are out here and we don't feel like anybody cares. So we are so thankful that somebody's trying to do something for us, to appreciate us.
and that's next Wednesday, you said?
Yes, sir.
At what time?
It would be at 6 p.m. 6 to 7.
When you say partner, what's your expectation?
To use the community center, access and use of the community center without paying the fee. So that would be your commitment to the partnership is all we're asking. And on Wednesday night, I did check, there's not a lot of, it's not used a lot.
And that's the 19th. That's next
Yes,
week.
ma'am. So I think it looks good that you all would be involved in that.
Ms. Blakeney, you've already talked with Andre on that, and
Yes.
the center's open and
Yes,
available, okay.
I did.
Ms. Blakeney, if you have this again next year, can you include the private schools also?
I will expand it. Yeah, I will. And I agree with you. I totally agree.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, and we'll
We
try to
don't-
make it
we
an
don't
annual
let them-
event.
We don't want to make them feel like they're being left out.
That's right.
Yeah, 'cause they
That's
play,
right.
they play a critical role too.
And I agree, but because of, the time factor is,
Close.
yes, close. Not unless the town is going, donate a lot of monetary prizes. I understand, I understand.
So will there be, what's the event gonna be? I know you said.
It will just, basically, we have this like, maybe a 5-10 minute little program, maybe a little skit. We're gonna try to get, Pastor Dale down at First Baptist to come in and do a prayer, for all this school, as they're all starting school, prayer for the teachers, that kind of thing, students for peace. And, then maybe some kind of a skit, a song, and then we'll go into just really doing the door prizes. So it's gonna take the bulk, and it will be from 6 to 7, the bulk of the time, just to distribute
Right.
the prizes.
This, I think it's a good thing, but I think there are other municipalities should be doing the same thing and recognize their teachers as well.
Yes,
I think
and
we're one of the few that recognize our teachers for Teacher of the Year, that we bring them forward here and.
I was here that night,
Yeah,
so yes, that was
We've been
great.
doing that now for almost 10 years.
And they greatly appreciate that.
As long-
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And
Oh, yeah.
so are you getting prizes from businesses?
From businesses, from, private donors.
I'd like to give one if you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, and like, next year, we would like to continue. And then, I will communicate with the other municipalities to see if they will do it. And so we can do it, have it out throughout the county. I think would be a great idea. So, anybody have any other questions?
Ms. Blake?
When is this now? Is what time?
Next Wednesday at
Next Wednesday,
6.
6.
Yes, sir.
Nobody has any questions? Thank you. We'll take our vote in just a second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions, comments? If not, I need a motion from council, partner with Ms. Blakely to recognize, I'm gonna call it Payson Jefferson School Employee Appreciation at the community center, and that it not be charged. It'd be a partnership. Our cost to the town would be, just allow them
Use
to use the facility in this partnership.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Any further discussion? If all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next on the agenda is the engineering on RIA grants. Mr. Slide.
All right, I'm requesting that, the council approve me to have the town engineer, start working on a project for the upcoming RIE grants that actually opened on, July the 1st. And that's actually gonna go on into the next one, which is to approve for us to apply for the grant as well. The engineer's supposed to try to stop in tomorrow. One of the things that we're really looking at is the Mungo lift station. We've had some overflows at that station. They were all reported to DHEC, but we want to stop that, and we want to be able to expand that, and so that works better than what it has been.
This is basically just authorization to use the.
Authorization to to talk with or to get the engineer to start working on the project.
Any questions, comments? If not, I need a motion to authorize the town administrator to begin to work with our new engineer to develop for RIA projects in the future. Got a motion? Second. Any further discussion? I don't know which one that was. It was it.
I got Harold Hoto and Jesse Kimmer, so whichever one wants it.
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
All right, I got HH wrote down. We're going on.
So I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Here, none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. And the next on the agenda is the approval to apply for a fall RIA project.
Motion. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So-
Wait.
The grant process is due in September, but y'all have approved me to have the engineer work on it. Now I need approval to actually apply for it.
I need a motion to authorize the town administrator to apply for the grant for the fall.
Motion.
Motion, second. Any further discussion? If you don't favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous.
Shane didn't say anything, I thought he was supposed to say something, and I nobody said anything, so I just jumped in.
Well, I'd already spoke on it, that's why. Okay, rescue squad repairs.
Next on the agenda is the rescue squad repair. I'll defer to you, Mr. Sloan.
All right, so y'all should have a copy of this, and Don, I don't know that you have one, so here, you might as well have it. So earlier in the year, when we was doing our water tower maintenance behind the police department,
Don't have that.
there should have been a handout on your desk, didn't?
No, because you just had me make a copy for you.
Okay, well, let me explain it, and then we'll get y'all a copy. So, and Don, I may have to get that one back, so,
So you
for
only
you
have
for
me
just
do
a
it one
minute.
copy?
No, there it is, I got it. All right, so earlier in the year, there was an overflow of water right there at the rescue squad building whenever they were doing the water tower maintenance, water backed up into the building. We've received 2 checks from the insurance company, one in the amount of, I think one $16,000, one was $19,000. I think that's what they are, I've got them right here. Yes, one $16,520.66, and the other one was $19,234.83. The rescue squad greatly needs to replace some of the stuff that they've lost, and I've had Tommy go through this list on what was actually the rescue squads and what was the towns, and the items that the insurance company had listed. Comes out to a total of $6,476.89. I'm asking council to approve getting them a check and asking them to submit receipts back as they buy some of this stuff, to be able to, for them to go ahead and start replacing some of that stuff, stuff that they actually need.
Give me that amount again, 6,000.
$6,476.89.
What's some of the things they lost?
They lost an AED. Tommy, can you help me with some of this stuff?
The things Mr. Sly's referring to were equipment
You want
and
to make a copy of
supplies
that, so we can.
that were located in the fire and rescue building. We're kind of co-located there, if you know how to, you guys know how that works. And the insurance adjusters made a comprehensive list in cooperation with the fire and rescue of all the things that were damaged, assessed their values, assigned, in many cases, assigned a factor to that because of the age of it. He wound up with breaking a list out for A, repairs to the building, which haven't been done yet. We're working on that. The challenge there is finding a contractor to take on a small job that has workers' compensation, general liability, for multiple quotes on that. 2, to reimburse the fire department, i.e. the town itself, for the damaged materials and equipment that's in the building. And 3, to replace the damaged materials and equipment or supplies, if you will, of the rescue squad. So the squad is broken down in a lot of detail in almost a 40-page report. And the line items that Mr. Sly was referring to are the items that affected the rescue squad. Those items totaled, whatever that number was, they gave $6,000.
$6,400, I think is what it was, and she's going to make copies of
So the
that.
town received this money a couple of months ago, and we're working to make everything right, so to speak, with the work there.
County owns the actual EMS vehicle.
I'm sorry, say again?
The county owns the vehicles, so was anything damaged with
No.
them?
No.
So
The
it's
county
just
has a-
stuff that was owned by the town, or,
So, as the county has a contract with a third-party EMS agency
Right.
that has a vehicle located in that facility.
right, but we own the facility. the
Yes.
town. Okay,
Yes, but to be more specific, you have a rescue squad building and you have a fire department. And it's pretty much a co-located thing with a 60-year history of co-location. The squad built the building in 65-ish, roughly 66-ish. We built our fire station there in 72.
So on the pages there that Kelly just handed out, the stuff X'd out on the back pages, those are fire things. So just the stuff with the check marks beside them, those will be the rescue squad items. And that, the total of those comes up at the bottom there. Chief Rivers figured that up. I actually went back behind them, adding them up, and realized that after I finished, and that I come up to the same thing, so.
Well, thank you.
You see how much attention I was paying?
If it comes up later, this is something Mr. Slack can handle, I'm sure, but with regards to the AED, those are expensive. Y'all know what AEDs are. That piece of equipment got damaged. They're only allowing a certain amount of reimbursement due to the age of that equipment. Well, the squad's still out that unit. They still got to buy a new one. So it's gonna cost more to buy that unit than the insurance company provided reimbursement. So I've already asked Mr. Sly to consider the town making up the difference, because a loss is a loss any way you figure it. And so that unit was several years old, and if you'll see, they depreciated quite a bit of the value of it. But anyway, that's something we can work through in the near future, I'm sure.
That's the most important thing on this.
That's right.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, our church got one recently, they're expensive.
Yes, but they save lives.
They absolutely.
We've saved lives with that very defibrillator has saved people's lives. At least 2 that I can recall.
So you're asking for
For,
the 647689
yes, for them to go ahead and start getting new supplies and,
equipment supplies.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions, comments from council? If not, a motion to approve the request to issue a check or replace the equipment and supplies in the amount of $6,476.89 for the rescue squad.
Motion.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing all in favor, raise your right hand. Next on the agenda is the victim advocate one. Mr. Sly.
all right. I'm not happy about this one. I've already been on the phone about this one. This one here is not my favorite subject at this moment, but the Victims Advocate Fund for the state of South Carolina says that we owe them $10,454.74. So what we doing is we spent this $10,454.74. We spent it out of the general fund. We had not made the transfer from the Victims Advocate Fund to the general fund of this money. There's a due from in that fund that shows that that fund owes the general fund that amount of money. The state don't agree with that. They say we have too much money in our account and they want the money back. I've been on the phone with the auditors about it, talked to the town attorney about it. I've talked to Blue in the face. I don't know what else to do other than send them the money, because it's one of those things where the auditors has told you in the past, if you don't spend it, they can come back and take it. Well, we did spend it, and they're still coming back and taking it because there was too much in the account.
On our own.
We did. We did. But we didn't transfer the money. We didn't transfer it on the books. We didn't physically write a check out of Victims Advocate Fund back to general fund, and they want the $10,000. So the town's technically out of $20,000 at this point, not $10,000. I'm sorry.
Have a due date?
They don't have a due date, but it's pretty much, the email is pretty much demanding the money. They've there's pages and pages of email I have on it where Lisa's gone back and forth with them on it, tried explaining, hey, we did spend the money. Here's where we spent the money. It just wasn't taken from this account and put into our general fund. And they said, your account's over to $25,000. You're allowed to have. We want the money back.
Well, that's what you do with pay.
Right.
You have to pay attention to those technicalities.
Right.
When they say,
You know, there's a proviso that goes along with it. And me and the auditor sit there and talked about the proviso, and it says that no more than $25,000 or 10% funds collected in the fiscal year, whichever is higher, if the county municipality does not spend at least 90% of the funds collected, and it goes on with a bunch of section codes, and the first 16 priority funds are received, and the county shall remit any unspent funds greater than allowed carried forward funds. And I said, we spent them. I got receipts where we spent them, and he said, I know you do. He said, but they see it still in the account, they want them, or they're gonna require you to pay the money back, is what the auditor told me.
What does partly do because our fiscal period runs January to December?
No, they're looking at our December 31st, or our January 1st carry forward is what they're looking at.
When would the journal entry be done to move the funds over? Would that be-
Going forward, they'll be done quarterly, and at the middle of December, I'll go in there every day and say, hey, are the funds moved, is check written, is it sent over, to make sure this don't happen again. But it should have been, it does not say here it has to be, well,
I think I've looked at that too. It doesn't specify.
It says it's money spent.
Yeah.
it says money
Proof
spent.
You spent it.
Yes,
But it don't say when you must have that money. That's right, any journal entry's done.
right,
You use a different account.
right. Me and the auditor talked about that. I said, you know, it's a due to, due from. We know that the money's due to the general fund. He said, I understand that. You understand that, but their attorneys still mandate that, hey, this here's, that's not what actually happened because that's not what's in these books. And so he tells me that there's no other way around this. He said he's fought them 3 or 4 times on victims advocate money in the same manner.
Can we hold until the next council meeting to do this, to see if we can?
So, and Bill will probably be here at the next council meeting, but what Bill told me on the phone was whenever you are, if you don't send it to them, you're in violation of the law because, until the check's actually mailed, you're in violation of the law.
So we're violating the law, but there's no more, there's not a degree of violation by going to me waiting from now to the next council meeting.
Unless they show up here and demand the
Yeah,
check.
right, they show up.
They can show up here and demand the check and walk out of here tomorrow with it.
And if you wait, you might owe them more. You may owe them more if you keep waiting.
Yeah, they could. They don't have a due date on there, so they don't have, I don't know how they're gonna say this.
But due date is what they say.
Our attorney said, whenever I talked to Adam about it, he's like, he was dumbfounded, and I told him what Bill had said, he's like, I mean, there wasn't nothing else he could really say, but I did tell him about it, he was a bit dumbfounded whenever I told him what the situation was.
There's a reason why certain people work in certain departments.
Mm-hmm.
They think one way and that's the way they think, and if you don't conform, then you get fined.
Sounds like we ain't got any choice, just go ahead and pay them.
Yeah, it comes down to a contest,
Yeah.
and they're gonna win.
Yeah.
Not my favorite outcome, but I feel like my hands are tied at this point.
If council's fine with it, we can go ahead and authorize the payment of this. You can hold it to the first of next week.
Just sticking out of the frowny face.
You got that, Kelly, sticky note with a frowny face?
Yeah.
Council fine with that?
There's nobody else you can call, or is there?
Well, I think that's what Jason's trying to do, is trying to buy us some time and give us a chance to call somebody and see what our other remedies may be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Read through that document because it
Yeah.
says money spent. It doesn't say anything about
Right.
county treatment.
Yeah. So,
I agree with that. That's why my first call was to the auditor.
They don't agree with that.
yeah.
Right.
I've got 2 or 3 contacts, used to be attorneys for the AG's office that may be able to help me. One of them chief of staff for department admin, so maybe able to see what we can do with that. They say, you walk up the wrong tree and go ahead and pay it, so, but at least we can ask, so. So, with that being said, Need a motion council to go ahead and authorize the payment of to the state with the victim advocates money in the amount of $10,454.74. Got a motion? Second, any further discussion? Hearing all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next on the agenda is the countywide water sewer study skip grant.
All right.
This line.
You should have a copy of a letter from City of Chesterfield. Should have been up on your desk. I don't think it was in your packet because I got it after your packets went out. So the town of Chesterfield received a skip grant for a feasibility study for a countywide water sewer feasibility study. And they're asking us to participate. This is a sample letter. This is what Chesterfield actually wrote to put into their packet from the town of Chesterfield. But they're asking us to do something similar. They're not asking for any money from the town. They're just asking us to participate and give them data is what they're asking for. And if you look through the items that they've got here, it says the town of Chesterfield supports water and sewer study for Chesterfield County. The town agrees to provide information concerning the town's water and sewer system and its finances. The town will strongly consider implementing recommendations that are developed as a result of the study. And if somebody would like to be on the committee, I think the mayor talked during the mayor's meeting, he wouldn't mind being on the committee. They'll serve as a representative on scoring the submitted proposals. And it doesn't cost the town anything. They're just asking for you to provide information and for them to do their feasibility study.
How long will this run, this thing?
I'm not sure right off they can take a couple months to go through. So
So the initial part will be to get someone to conduct, we'll select a person, a firm to do the study, and then it'll probably take 4 to 6 months to get the results back probably.
yeah, be a lot like the studies we went through last year.
Yeah. But but the letter though they're asking for is basically a letter of participation, so we're
Yep.
intent to participate. So,
How does this go along with our brand new sewer system?
Well,
Countywide sewer system?
We're just asking for, by them asking us, and actually they've asked all the municipalities in the county, they're just asking for information. They're not saying that we've got to participate if they were to come up with some kind of conclusion. They're saying, hey, let's see what the best case scenario would be for the county. What could be a possibility? This is more of a, figuring out what the possibilities could be, and the possibilities of further grant funding for other parts of the county as well. And I mean, it could benefit the town as well. I mean, at the end of the day, it could increase the water here and help get grant funds for getting better water here and that type of stuff too.
yeah, the state likes pool participation, that's what Senator Shaheen used to say, anytime we ever talk about grants, he said, if you can get, y'all work together as like 2 towns together or a whole county, you're more likely to get money from the state and feds on that. So, this is nothing more than just a study, all this is.
Yep, it's just a study and a letter of intent to participate in the study.
Is there any questions about the skip grant? With the water sewer study?
There's no conflict here. We've been giving them our information and they are requesting that we raise our water rates.
Well, this is not Chesterfield Rural Water. This is the county municipalities.
Municipality.
Yes, this is, the town of Chesterfield received the grant. This is not rural water at all. This is the municipalities.
Any other questions, comments? If not, I need a motion to authorize the town administrator to draft a letter of intent to participate for the countywide water sewer study for the town, with the town of Chesterfield. Got a motion? Second, any further discussion? If all in favor, raise your right hand. And next on the agenda is the acceptance of money from Chesterfield County, CCRWC, and Alligator Rural Water. Mr. Sly.
So last year, we went to county council. It was me, Jason, Mr. Griffin. There was a whole crowd of us went to county council to try to get more water up here on this end of the county. And we was asking them for their ARP funds is what we was asking for. Instead, they gave us, they allotted $1.8 million for Alligator and Chesterfield County Rural Water, for the benefit of those two companies to be able to get more water up here. And they put patiently, since we went and asked them to help get more water up here, they put us as the, as quote unquote the middleman. They sent us the check for $1.8 million, and they're asking us to receive that money and then to pay out the invoices. They've used that money as matching funds for the SCIP grants for Alligator and Chesterfield Rural Water. So we currently have in the bank $1.8 million that we got the check last week. Kelly's created a separate account for it, but we need y'all to accept it. And this will go along with the very next one, which is approval to pay out the invoices.
The invoices equal or
Well, currently they don't. We've gotten about $300,000 from each agency, isn't that right? We've gotten about $300,000 worth of invoices from each one. So we got about $600,000 worth of invoices currently. And that's the engineering fees is what that ends up being.
Any timeline on the start date?
On the start date of the work for their SCIP grants, or are you talking about the water tower? The water tower has already been bid and they're working on that. We had a meeting here the last week of June, and they gave specs out. I think you'll start seeing it going up in December. After it'll take them that long to get stuff built and put together, but I think what they were saying was about December, you should start seeing stuff going up. And they should be substantially finished early spring of next year.
That's good. Any questions regarding the 1.8 million, the acceptance of the 1.8 million, as advised, the item laid on the agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve the receipt of the 1.8 million for the Chesterfield County Rural Water and Alligator Rural Water.
Motion.
From Chesterfield County. Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, unanimous. Next on the agenda is the approval to pay invoices from Chesterfield County Rural Water and Alligator for funds from Chesterfield County. You've already stated what the intent of the funds are. So with that being said, I need a motion to approve the town administrator to pay invoices from Chesterfield County Rural Water and Alligator that we just accepted for item 8 on the agenda. Got a motion, Mr. Hancock, second, Mr. Baker. Any further discussion? Hearing none, favor, raise your right hand. Next on the agenda, the administrator report, Mr. Sly.
All right. The financial statement has been provided to you. There's also a copy of the final report up here as always. The Watermelon Festival is this weekend. You should have a copy of the agenda. There should have been one left up on the counter for you. If not, Kelly can get you one. I see some laying right there. The parade will be Saturday morning. Lineup is from 9 o'clock to 9:30 on West McGregor. If y'all can try to be down there that morning. Anybody that's planning on being on the float and riding, I know one or two of you have some conflicts that can't come, but anybody that's planning on being on the float will be there between 9 and 9:30, getting ready to start. Council will cut watermelons at 1 o'clock Saturday at the farmer's market. We don't have air conditioner in there, but we do have fans, high velocity fans.
Why is it on there when it's gonna be, I'm just asking, when it's gonna be locked by the fair. I'm just,
I mean, the whole intent was to try to get people into the farmer's market just to see and stuff that weekend.
or there might not be coming through there because they don't know that we're gonna be there.
I mean, we can move it back. Either way, I'm just throwing that out there.
I hate
That's,
for us to waste all that watermelon if nobody comes.
They'll find it.
They'll find it. Visit is free.
or somebody that's standing in the street yelling free watermelon, go in that door.
They come out easy, they'll find it.
I mean, I was just asking because
Yeah.
everybody's gonna know we're there because we're usually on the street.
There ain't nothing like putting.
Well,
I like it on the corner because everybody knows that's where it's always been, so, I mean,
I think that's where it should be too.
I'm just,
Well, what's the change?
There was just a conversation on, back and forth on it being changed. We was trying to have the air conditioner in there so y'all could be cool, but we do have fans in there, currently, that would help out with that some.
Why do you think it's tradition?
Maybe we just do, well, we just moved to this one site just 2 years ago, so it's not we have a long-standing history, just one location, but, I'm fine with doing on the street this year, and we have get air conditioned stuff next year, we can do it different.
Yeah.
Okay, we move back, that's fine.
moving still later.
Still at 1 o'clock. Still at 1 o'clock.
That's fine.
Last month, we had the fly-in, which was a pretty good event. There was a lot of participation in that. The same day we had the Juneteenth, there was a lot of participation with that. I think I seen a couple councilmen had gone to that. I was beat by the time we finished with the fly-in myself. But I think I seen a couple had gone to that. The Live After 5 was held downtown. It brought a pretty good turnout. Sherry's been behind the scenes on some of those, the fly-in and the Live After 5. So she's been helping out with some of that on the Main Street side of things. Sandra is back. She's been out with a family illness for a couple weeks, but she's finally come back. We're glad to have her back. Kim's daughter, Kinsey, started helping us, some here in the office, doing some shredding and helping us get some organization on some documents that we needed some organization on. She's doing it free of charge. She's coming in and volunteering her time, and, so we appreciate her help, and we'll write her a letter of recommendation for her volunteerism at the end of the summer if she so wishes to have one.
No, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And also, there's a copy of the 2024 budget schedule. I handed out all the department heads their budget yesterday. Their budgets are due back to me by August the 18th. The department head presentations will be on the September 5th council meeting. We typically, I've got 6:30 on this list. Typically, we started a little bit earlier so department heads can do their request before the actual council meeting portion of it. So that's subject to change, but that's what we got listed on here for now. The first reading, we're looking at the October 3rd council meeting for the first reading of the budget. The public hearing being on the November the 6th. I don't know if you guys remember, I actually had to go back to the minutes and look myself. The November 7th meeting is the election day, so y'all voted to move it back one day, so it'll be on November the 6th for the month of November. So that public hearing will be on November 6th. And then the second reading of the budget, we got scheduled for December the 5th. And that's all that I have on administrator report.
Any questions, comments, council?
Good job, get your hands full right here, Luke.
It's been busy.
Just a little.
I think the events that we've been doing, the fly-in, the Juneteenth,
Yeah.
those have been good. There've been a lot of participation. I hope to see a lot during the Watermelon Festival. So
Yeah,
those will build community.
right.
Mr. Shane Hancock is now officially a grandfather.
Congratulations.
Grandpa, granddad, pop.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You got time to think about it.
Everybody's doing good, Carolina and Adeline are both doing really well, so
sign that anyway.
Yeah,
She will.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Everybody's doing well. We appreciate everybody's thoughts.
That's a blessing.
It sure is. It's been a blessing.
All right, well, that concludes all the items we have on the agenda for this evening. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion. All in favor, raise your right hand. We are adjourned. Thank y'all.
Well, hang on, I'm the person